Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you another favorites video. I've done a few in the past like this, and I've been talking about doing this one very frequently, and it's on my favorite Vetiver fragrances. Now these are the ones I've chosen from my collection, and I also have a few favorite ones that I haven't added to my collection yet. So if you'd like to know what my favorite Vetiver fragrances are, then keep watching. Love this note so much in fragrances. So this video isn't going to be like a top 5 or top 10, rather I just picked all of my favorite ones that I've experienced where this is a very predominant note, and I've decided I will share them with you. There's going to be a lot that you probably won't see on this list, mostly because I have definitely not even come close to experiencing all the gorgeous Vetiver fragrances out there, so please feel free to recommend me some good ones below. I'm not going to go too much into what Vetiver is. It is a root, it's like a grass, and the oil is extracted from the root. You can go with a few different ways. You can find it to be more grassy and almost citrusy and woodsy. It can be kind of a little bit more earthy and moist, or it can be dry and smoky. It really can wear a variety of different hats and smell a variety of different ways. Depends on the quality of the ingredients as well as the other notes that are present in the fragrance. Now I do have one fragrance at the very end that is going to be my all-time favorite fragrance, and was the fragrance that made me really fall in love with this note and these types of fragrances. So without further ado, let's get into my choices. I'm going to talk about is from Guerlain, and this is Vetiver. This is a masculine fragrance, and it was created in 1961, so this has been around for over 50 years, almost 60 years at this point. It's a really beautiful citrus, light, woodsy fragrance that's really nice in the daytime. And what I love most about this is this really showcases the Vetiver in one of my favorite ways that it is, which is really grassy and bright. The notes in this, the top notes are bergamot, lemon, mandarin, neroli, and coriander. The heart notes are vetiver and cedar, and the base notes are tobacco, nutmeg, pepper, and tonka bean. So this has there we go. This is a nice mix of a little bit of pepper, a little bit of spice to make it a little bit more aromatic, but that beautiful bright citrus opening really pairs with the gorgeous woodsy notes of the cedar and the beautiful grassy notes of the vetiver. Now this is one of my favorite fragrances to wear during the daytime, in hot weather, in cool weather. The cap just what I really like about this is how versatile it is. You can really wear it pretty much year round. The nice woodsy notes of this make this really nice during the fall and maybe like warmer winters, but it's still really nice and appropriate for spring and summer. I've had decants of this and samples of this for far too long. I finally decided to pick up a bottle. You can find this really inexpensively on the gray market. It's really easy to find if you look through discounters, or you can buy it right from the Guerlain counter. They still sell it. It's a beautiful vetiver fragrance, and I just love it. The other thing that I like about this fragrance is the fact that the tonka bean isn't overpowering. You pretty much for the entire lifespan of this fragrance get a beautiful, strong, grassy, woodsy vetiver fragrance, but you have the brightness of the citrus in the opening, which kind of crisps it up and makes it really nice for daytime. But the tonka bean in there just comes a little bit of warmth and a little bit of depth and plays off a tiny bit of the vetiver's kind of more smoky, earthy vibes, which gives this fragrance a lot of really nice and beautiful complexity while still being really easy to wear. So it's a fantastic vetiver fragrance. There's a reason why it's been around for a very long time, and it is definitely worth checking. Beautiful vetiver offering comes from Raw Spirit Fragrance. Again, these are my favorites, and there's a lot I haven't tried from other houses. So again, I'm letting you know, recommend me really good vetiver fragrances below. I love them. But Summer Rain is one of the first fragrances that I found that really reminds me of home. If you guys don't know, I live in South Florida. I live really close to the Everglades, and this fragrance is supposed to pay tribute to the Everglades. The notes are grapefruit, lime, it has orange flower, jasmine, and it's got a base, or the base notes are cedarwood and Haitian vetiver. Now what I like most about this fragrance, kind of like the Guerlain vetiver, is the fact that it's really quite woodsy and citrusy and bright and sparkling and grassy, and that works so well in my environment. I enjoy this fragrance a lot because it's really somewhat sweet, but like a bitter sour sweetness that you would get from grapefruit. It's very crisp, and it pairs beautifully with the citrus and the jasmine and the cedar, but those notes really hide the vetiver. What they do is they work to elevate the vetiver, so you get that beautiful grassy, somewhat citrusy, woodsy vibe from this fragrance. And the fact that it does remind me very much of where I live, and it's supposed to, makes this a really successful fragrance. If you're new to vetiver, if you're trying to find some great introductory fragrances that are really predominantly vetiver, Summer Rain, Raw Spirit Fragrances has some great offerings, Summer Rain being one of them. My favorite fragrances, one of my most worn fragrances from my collection in general, not just as a vetiver fragrance, comes from Armani Prive, and it's a vetiver Babylone. This is beautiful. There are 2 to 3 fragrances I wear when I meet other fragheads. If we're going on sniffing excursions, if I'm meeting other fragrance reviewers, I'm very specific about the fragrances I wear around other people that are like-minded and obsessed with fragrances. This is one of them. It's a very specific reason why, because this is a beautiful fragrance, this is an effervescent fragrance, and the vetiver in this is just amazing, and I love the combination of notes in this. So this has bergamot, mandarin, cardamom, coriander, pink pepper, patchouli, and vetiver. What I like most about this fragrance is it's very aromatic, it's very light, it's very effervescent, it's woodsy and crisp, but the patchouli does give it a really nice base, and it really elevates the vetiver notes. I'd say this is more of a woodsy, kind of grassy vetiver, not so much of like a smoky damp, a little bit more on the dry side. But that citrus opening does make this a little tiny bit sweet and bright, and it's a very fresh, crisp, easy to wear vetiver fragrance that I like wearing in the summer because it's always so hot here, and I like to wear woodier, heavier fragrances. A lot of times I can't wear what I truly want to wear. And so this is one that has been just fantastic to wear on days where it's really hot, it's really humid, but I do want to wear that kind of more grassy, aromatic, woodsy fragrance. This has been absolutely fantastic, which is why it's one of my favorites and one of my most worn. Review of any of these fragrances, I will link them below. But I just reviewed this a few days ago, and it's really, really fantastic. And it's from Labo, and it's Vetiver 46. This is a beautiful mix between grassy, woodsy, and smoky. It kind of has the best of both worlds of all of the other or the different ways that vetiver can smell in a fragrance. I like the fact that it's smoky, I like the fact that it's grassy, I like the fact that it's woodsy. It's very aromatic, and it projects really nicely off the skin, but it's not a loud projection. It doesn't really go much longer than arm's length, but when you wear it, you can smell it. Like there's something about the Labo fragrances where I never go nose blind to it. I'm always aware that I'm wearing fragrances from Labo, and that's always so fantastic because I love them. So I'm always aware that I'm wearing this fragrance, and it's absolutely beautiful. So if you're looking for a really nice vetiver fragrance that would be good for morning to evening, or can go smoky and light to deep and like peppery, this one can go a variety of different ways. It's very, very versatile, and it's extremely beautiful. I do not have a bottle of yet, but I am most definitely going to be buying a bottle of this. But I do have a little decant sample, and this is from Roja Parfums, and it's the Vetiver Pour Homme, the Parfum version, not the extrait, not the eau de parfum. I've tried them all, and I really like this version the best. There's a lot of notes in this, as there usually are with Roja fragrances, so I will read the notes to you and I will let you know why I love this one so much. The top notes again are lemon and bergamot. The heart notes are rose, jasmine, and cistus. Then you have in the base notes, you have celery, caraway, nutmeg, pepper, oak moss, vetiver, galbanum, cedarwood, cedar needles, gaiac wood, amyris, and labdanum. There's a lot, and I mean a lot going on in these fragrances. But one of my favorite things about Roja Parfums in general is when you have the fragrances like Enslaved and Creation E and Innuendo and Beguiled, they really are just like a cauldron of different notes that come together to create this beautiful elixir. But when you get into the fragrances like gardenia or lily or lilac or vetiver, you're dealing with a variety of different notes that are really added together to elevate the namesake of that fragrance. And that's why I really loved lily. That's why I really liked gardenia. What I really love about the vetiver is this elevates vetiver to my favorite type of vetiver, which is smoky and warm and damp. And it's so freakishly good, you guys. I really get a lot of warmth and spice in this. It's so aromatic. It's really quite beautiful. And the vetiver is smoky and rich. And there's woodsy and there's a little bit of brightness. I mean, every single one of those notes helps elevate the vetiver. And since there's so many different notes, it really works very hard to elevate this beautiful, smoky, damp, dark, woodsy vetiver. Absolutely adore this fragrance. Will be buying a bottle of it. I've just been buying so much. I'm trying to kind of tone it down for a little bit, but this is on my must-buy list. It is so freakishly good. That didn't make it to this list because I haven't experienced them enough to really be able to say that they're my favorites, but I do enjoy them, is Tom Ford Grey Vetiver and Creed's Vetiver. So the next up are my top two. This really isn't so much of a top list, and there is the one that made me fall in love with Vetiver, but when you see the two next to each other, you'll kind of know what I mean when this is a top one that isn't quite number one, but is definitely one of my most favorite Vetiver fragrances. Comes from Lalique, and if you don't know what it is already, a lot of people know this fragrance. In some cases it's considered a masterpiece, and I do agree with that terminology for this fragrance, and it is Encre Noire. This is everything, close to everything. When you see the other one, you'll know why. I mean, you probably already know what it is at this point, but you guys, this is everything that I want from a vetiver fragrance. The notes in this are Haitian vetiver, vetiver bourbon, cypress wood, musk, and cashmere wood. This is kind of like if you take a smoky, milky, earthy, damp vetiver and you mix it with wood and pencil shavings. There's something inky, and a lot of people describe inky, and in the name it does make sense, but that is such a smart name for this fragrance. It smells like ink. This is how ink would smell, I think, but in a super positive way, like you would just drown yourself in it because it smells so freakishly good. The vetiver in this is mostly smoky and damp, but it has this really nice grassy feel to it, which I think makes this super duper impressive. And the different woods in this really elevate this and just really set apart the vetiver. They don't work to elevate the vetiver, but they work in harmony with the vetiver, but they don't compete with it either. It's kind of like, you know, you're a dad and you're racing your son and you let your son win, and the son's everything to you and you know you could win, but you made everything better by letting him win. That's kind of what this is. I know, that's so bizarre. But the notes in here, the woods in here, could really easily, in every single case, beat the vetiver. They could overpower the vetiver. They could smother the vetiver. But the fact is they don't. They let the vetiver win, and that creates a better race, a better composition of fragrance altogether, rather than it being tying or exceeding the vetiver. Because the vetiver is more smoky in this and more damp and more dark, you do play off those woodsy vibes from the cashmere wood really quite beautifully, but you also get that lovely grassiness that kind of cuts through everything. A lot of people say you can't wear this every day. It's more of a special occasion fragrance. It's black tie. I am one of those people where those are the types of fragrances I wear to the grocery store. So I wear this one a lot. I just recently got it. I've worn it a bunch in the past. It's one of the fragrances I would kind of spritz on myself if I went out to the mall and I saw it there, and I love it. I will wear this anywhere, anytime, any day. I will be that person because this is so good. Right, guys, last and certainly not least is Sycamore from Chanel, the Eau de Toilette formulation. Now, I went to a Chanel boutique and I tried them. I've tried the Parfum again, and I still stand by the fact that I really don't think there's anything special about Sycamore Eau de Parfum. It kind of dulls all the other notes and kind of mixes them together and makes them more bland. After it's on your skin for about a few hours, you do start to get the beauty in this, but if you want to spray a fragrance and get the glory of it after like 4 to 5 hours, what's the point of spending that much money on a bottle of perfume if you gotta wait till the end of it to enjoy it? That's my thoughts. Not everyone thinks the way I do, and that's fine. You're all correct. I'm correct. We're all correct. But the Eau de Toilette formulation of Sycamore is a holy grail, hands down, top 5 forever fragrance that I love. The best thing about this fragrance is the Vetiver. The other best thing about this fragrance is everything else about it. It's just phenomenal. If you're unfamiliar with the notes in this, it's vetiver, cypress, juniper, pink pepper, smoke, and burning woods. I'm going to put this down because if I drop it I will cry because I do not have a backup bottle of that yet and it's so hard to find. If you guys have a bottle you're selling, please DM me, send me an email, let me know. I'm definitely always looking for backup bottles of that. Anyway, the beautiful thing about this fragrance, kind of like Encre Noire, is that all the notes that are in this fragrance work with the Vetiver. And so the beauty of Sycamore really comes, it's like the same way as Encre Noire, but it's a little bit different. Encre Noire and Sycamore both have the same type of thing going on in the composition, where the notes aren't playing with the Vetiver or against the Vetiver. It's kind of like they're coming in second place. So you definitely get the pink pepper, you definitely get the juniper, you get the beautiful burning woods vibe of this, but you get the Vetiver. The Vetiver is there, it is in the forefront, it is the winner. But all those other notes add to the Vetiver, add to the experience that is Sycamore. Now, Encre Noire is the same way. Unfortunately, it doesn't have as much going for it like Sycamore, and it isn't as refined. Now, that doesn't mean it's a bad fragrance. It's an exceptional fragrance. It's an absolutely beautiful fragrance, one of my favorites, absolutely. But when it comes down to Sycamore, to me, Sycamore is a little bit more artistic. It's more of an artistic juice. It's more of an artistic experience. It's not creating a beautiful Vetiver fragrance, a deep, inky, smoky, wonderful experience. It's creating Sycamore. The Sycamore experience, specifically with the Eau de Toilette, to me, I feel really encapsulates the beauty of Vetiver. You're really getting it in all of its beautiful properties. You get the dry grassiness, you got the woodsiness, you got the damp smokiness, and a lot of people have described it. It's like picking Vetiver right out of the ground. I think Jacob or Super Jacob said that on his channel when it came to Sycamore, and I completely agree. It smells like fresh picked grass with the dirt and the moisture, but then you also get the beautiful grassy dryness and the woodsiness, and the juniper and the pepper and all those other notes work in harmony, not against or with the Vetiver, but next to it in second place, which elevates it but doesn't elevate it because you're not losing those notes either. It's a phenomenal fragrance. I could talk about it forever. I did a review on it. I'll link it below. I don't want this video to be any longer than it is. Oh my gosh, this video is already long. But that is the fragrance that really made me fall in love with Vetiver, because I got to experience in its variety of different ways that you can smell it. Damp, dry, earthy, woodsy, grassy, just bright. It's just something about Vetiver really works and is really kind of a chameleon. It works really well for daytime fragrances, for evening fragrances, for casual fragrances, for formal fragrances, for masculine fragrances, for feminine fragrances. It really does a fantastic job whenever it's in other fragrances, and I always get so excited when I see Vetiver in the notes. So that is my love letter to these Vetiver fragrances. I do hope you enjoyed this video. I know it is on the longer side because I can't shut up, so I'm very sorry. But again, I know I've said this before, these are the favorite Vetiver fragrances that I've had the pleasure of really trying and wearing, and obviously they're in my collection. But if I have missed any fragrances that you think are fantastic, that are predominantly Vetiver, please recommend them to me below. Guys, if you like these videos and my fragrance videos and things like this, remember to give this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue doing videos like this. And also don't forget to subscribe, because it's free. And I'm free. I put out new videos every Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekends as well. So always have something for you to watch. In any case, I hope you guys are all happy and healthy, and have a great day, month, year, whatever. And I'll see you next time. Bye!